immigration right now, the country will be fine. A, we're going to assimilate slowly, but eventually we will get some of the immigrants who are already here. But B, you know who's having a lot of kids? Christians, conservatives, conservative Jews. They keep writing about this, how in 20 years, a majority of Jews in this country will probably be the backbone of the Republican Party because they're the ones having the kids. The liberal Jews are having 0.75, children per.
In central Brooklyn, Romney got 95% of the vote.
Yeah. No, so we can, not me in my case, but if the rest of you could follow Phyllis Schlafly's example, we can outpopulate them.
Good. You mentioned Fox News has joined the sort of boycott of the issue. They will not allow the other side to be heard. Why is that? Why has Fox News gone silent on the immigration issue?
I don't know, but you don't hear any of these things that Ann is
Other than when I go on, and I don't know that it's conscious. I don't mean to be accusing them of having a policy against it. Just look out in the world. Who's writing about this? And a lot of what TV seems to follow is, well, God bless that Drudge. That kind of gets it up there. But people look at what's on Drudge and on some of your blogs and Daily Caller and Breitbart and so on, and they look at the New York Times and what are they talking about on MSNBC, ABC, CBS. So it's kind of hard to be the one lone voice in the wilderness.
So we need your blogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go Jeff back there. And then
Hi, I'm Jeff Donitz with the lady.
Hello, I read your stuff. I read your stuff too.
First, I want to apologize to my fellow conservatives because I'm one of those Jews that Ann is talking about, but I only have 2 kids. That's Do you think that we're making a mistake by not raising the issue of law and order when we're talking about I call them, because they don't like to be called illegal immigrants, I call them criminally trespassing aliens. Do you think, because they came here and broke the law. So if that breaking the law is okay, well,
right.
Is murder okay? Where do you stop it? And there have been so many examples where, for example, 2 years ago, when someone was caught trying to blow up a building in Houston, that guy came in, he was a legal alien from Jordan. So why don't we use law and order as one of the reasons why it's bad?
No, I agree. I think it's a great point. I don't know why conservatives are so cowed on this issue, and like I say, my only guess is the magical word racist.
Well, I would say one other point here. Remember that in terms of votes for the Republican Party, it's legal immigration that's transformed. Remember, there are about 3 times as many legal immigrants as there are illegal immigrants. And my analysis of motive, there are not that many illegal immigrants voting. Now, it is true that congressional districts are drawn to accommodate illegal immigrants. California, for example, has 4 additional congressional seats because of illegal aliens who sent their census forms back. No one disputes that. So that is true. So that is a way in which illegals get politically represented in our system. And then you get districts where there are very few voters, and the voters are mostly, progressives or liberals. But its legal immigration is much bigger, and most of all the votes that the Democrats are getting is from legal immigration. So what Republicans have to think about is, does over 1 million make sense, which is the current level? And then, of course, the Senate bill doubles and triples that in various ways.
There's another issue that we haven't addressed, and I think we should, and that's this phony argument that it's the Christian thing to do, to let everybody into this country.
That one doesn't work.
And the fact is that the recent immigrants will be the ones most hurt by this amnesty, because it will continue to drive down the wages. And the hope of the people coming in is that they will get a job, get a raise, move into the middle class, and live the American dream. They're never going to live the American dream if we keep bringing in more cheap labor. So the ones who are really betrayed are the immigrants we're letting in. Would you?
Absolutely. And I guess the only other thing I'd add is it's the typical liberal version of Christianity, where my charity will involve harming you. And I won't lift a finger, but I'll go around bragging about how charitable I am. Who is paying to give Mark Zuckerberg his even ever cheaper labor. All of us are, all taxpayers are. We're paying for the schools and the roads. And it is people at the lowest end of the income spectrum who are losing jobs and having lower wages. Oh, but they're going to be good Christians and let in people so that there are more maids, nannies, chauffeurs, and gardeners.
I'm going to go Katie, David Cullen next, and Matt. Hold up money. No.
What do you guys see across the media coverage about, especially concerning healthcare, diseases that are running the forest? There's one story about Southern California. There's this strange case of foliage just erupting. And in the comments section, of course, it's not mentioned at all in the report. Something in the comments section is the word, just people coming through. They're not inoculated, they're not vaccinated. How do we bring this up and how do we stop this?
That's right, and another one brought in the type of incurable TB that we cured years, seconds ago. Brought them in, let them in, can't put them in our hospital.
Yeah, it's the madness of illegal immigration. There's a reason you do this legally. We want to check you out. And you know, be like every other country on earth and get the best immigrants. Why can't we search the world? We're absolutely the creme de la creme. That's unfair. No, we have to take the ones who are instantly old ones dying, going on Social Security, coming. There's actually a wheelchair section. No, I want the young, healthy ones who are going to pay into the system and work hard, and not the ones bringing in diseases. You're right, it's an important issue, and ooh, do they hide that?
Oh, yeah.
What I kind of see three distinct groups as you know, people that can fight against what they're trying to do. Conservative groups out there, actual members of Congress and the media. What does each of those groups, in your guys' opinion, need to actually specifically do to stop them from succeeding in doing an amnesty and a massive increase in illegal immigration?
Calls to members of Congress. I mean, as Mickey House has written, it's like a zombie. We can never seem to kill it. How many times do Americans have to tell them? You know, when I don't know if you remember this because 9/11 took over so quickly. The first thing George Bush was pushing in 2001 was amnesty. The first thing, that's item one. And you know, it has been killed over and over again. By the way, you know, to go back to happier times, when Bill Clinton was president, a major restriction on immigration almost went through because that's when the Barbara Jordan report came out. And Clinton was for it. He was pushing it through.
It was a good report.
Yes, it was a great report. It was Dick Armey, whom I used to like until reading this, who said, I can't think of a single problem that would be solved by restricting immigration. So it's actually these bad Republicans in the Congress at the time who stopped it, but that's how recent we almost pushed through immigration reforms. But it does take people calling, and I hear many of you in this room are responsible for many of those calls. But yeah, it's easy to scare a congressman and do not think it isn't. And for the media, it's just to talk about it. The truth shall set you free. Just having the facts out there, and we win.
Well, that's where you bloggers come in. And the thing that Eagle Farm is going to do is go out and defeat the guys who vote for amnesty, because we have a PAC and we believe in political action.
Good. It's the only single issue.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Yaki. My blog is A Conservative Lesbian. I'm one of the conservatives that Barack Obama made. The first issue, the first issue that attracted me to conservatism was illegal immigration, and the hope that conservatives would have the spine to stop it. Because I lived in Silver Spring, Maryland, which was overwhelmed by illegal immigration. I had personal experience that they are here as conquerors, not to assimilate, and they treat us badly. They have enormous contempt and a sense of entitlement. And I felt that my life's work trying to get equality as a woman and as a gay person were going to be overthrown because they're coming from cultures that they feel that they're required to kill us and to subjugate women. So I would love to have that racist conversation right after we have the conversation on how they treat gays and how they treat women, but not until. So I actually have a plan that will not create a huge bureaucracy, will not involve building a wall, and it is to take.
Can we have a question?
Yeah. No, I'm sorry, you are going to get a speech, that's why I think.
I'm sorry.
No, please.
Go ahead.
I need Ann's reaction to this. We need to take a tool from the drug war, which is confiscation of property, and we need to reward the whistleblower and give them the property for ratting out the illegal immigrant, because that means that you don't get to keep your...
We're pretty far from that right now with Obama promising them
You don't
Obamacare.
get to keep your ill-gotten gains, and you have deputized millions of
No,
people.
it's a great idea.
The one who brought the baby guy.
You get rewarded for that.
I'm busy repopulating. I just have one question. So we know the stance of many of our sitting congressmen and senators, and we know how bad it can be. So should we not then be encouraging people to primary the ones who have already made it clear that they plan to roll over on amnesty?
It depends on how safe the district is.
Right.
And also, I mean, I'll tell you one that's the most disappointing to me is Trey Gowdy. He is so smart, he is so articulate, and he's saying this nonsense about, the children. Him, I think we can flip because he's smart.
Right,
But he's surrounded, again, it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You don't know who's been gotten, but I think we can win him back. I think in terms of senators, I think we got to take the Senate. We got to take the Senate. The only senator I support primary, and I don't think we have a strong enough candidate yet. I haven't looked at it that closely, but is Lindsey Graham in South Carolina. And if one congressman, I think you need a member of Congress. We've seen you need someone who's run for office before. The pig and the pokes haven't worked out well for us. You just want somebody who's run before and has some sort of record. I mean, not only do they screw us when they're campaigning sometimes, even smart ones, you're shocked by the stupid things they say, but then they also screw us when they get to Congress, and, to wit, Marco Rubio. He campaigned specifically against amnesty, attacking, and so I prefer incumbents, especially when we desperately need to take Congress, but in the case of Lindsey Graham, right-wingers, conservatives, patriots are dying to contribute to an opponent to Lindsey Graham. So I think if a decent one came forward.
Okay, she has about 5 minutes left, and does, before our book signs. So Adrian?
Hi, I'm Adrian Royer. I work for FAIR and ImmigrationReform.com, and I have to say thank you for having two of my favorite conservative women role models here talking about the immigration issue that I work on. It's kind of speaking out, so this is so exciting for me. My question is, how can we fight this when, conservatives like the board of ACU are completely stacked with pro-amnesty people? I was reading last night. There's a Microsoft guy on the board. I didn't realize it. Microsoft had more lobbying reports before Congress on immigration than anyone else in the country. They had like 44 reports filed. So how can we fight this as conservatives when so many resources are dominated by the pro-amnesty side? It's hard.
Yeah, two things on that quickly. One is it fulfills, remember John O'Sullivan's theorem that any organization, actually it doesn't, it's even worse than his theorem, that is not explicitly, expressly right-wing will eventually become a liberal think tank. That seems to be happening to something that actually is explicitly right-wing, CPAC. Number two, you have to email me because I want to know who's on the board and how many of them are lobbyists. I was just talking about this yesterday. I mean, I started asking about some of the people on the board, and some of them I know are lobbyists. I know are lobbyists, and look, you can be a lobbyist, but I'm not sure you should be on the board of what is putatively an ideological organization. It drives me crazy when I'm on TV and I'm saying what I believe because that's what I believe, and I'm up against somebody who's being paid by, the Santorum campaign to say, no, he's the greatest. Can you at least tell the viewers? I'm not being paid to say who I think the greatest is. And I think it's very bad for CPAC. A bunch of people.
A quick follow-up to that, because you're one of the few.
You should let CPAC know that we missed having a specific program against amnesty. Mm-hmm. What they had was 3 for amnesty and 1 sort of against it.
Can you identify
that's
yourself?
Not satisfactory.
Yeah, Rymar Tirado with Rymar.com. You're one of the few people that actually doesn't argue the premise that the left sets when you're in the national spotlight. And I think one of the biggest problems that we have to deal with in the context of getting this message across is not arguing on their premise. We have to destroy their premise and then argue on the battleground of ideas. So you've been really successful at doing that in your career and everything that you do. So how do we spread that? How do we make it so that more people understand that you can't argue on their premise? You can't argue their facts. You have to understand the issue and battle ideas, because when we battle ideas, we win. So how do we make that more
Just
popular?
recognize that liberals are liars. Teach conservatives by example. And just one more point on the CPAC. I mean, this is why I will not be giving a standalone speech at CPAC this year, but I did outfox them. They insisted I debate a liberal, and so I picked Mickey House, who is very anti-amnesty and pro, I think, immigration moratorium.
And when is it this afternoon?
1:30, I keep saying to them, they keep changing the times, and no one will know when to show up.
1:30.
But I think you'll hear a little bit, and that'll be the only place in CPAC you're gonna hear about it.
So did you say CPAC, sorry my voice is shot. So did you say CPAC is not letting you speak because they're afraid you're gonna rip on high?
Well, that's my interpretation. The reason I'm against the debate at CPAC is I'm not Bill Maher. I don't like standing ovations in front of an audience that is 99% for me. That actually, I'll hold back with a liberal, but fortunately I agree with Mickey on a lot of things, and everything always comes back to immigration.
Michael Gay.
Michael Shannon, the host of Shebang Mostly. I'm a retired cop, which is why I look at this dreamer this way. You know, as a lawyer, that you're not allowed to profit from illegal behavior, which is why the drug lord's kids don't get to keep the house. But I don't hear people making that argument about the dreamers.
That's a great point. I like that. You have to go to my book signing. I'm so sorry. This was so much fun. And I wish